Hello! Today I'm going to show you how to draw a gnome. This is one of the gnomes that I drew. There are so many different fun little ways to draw gnomes that yours will probably not look exactly like mine, and that's okay. So to draw a gnome today, you just need a piece of paper and something to draw with. So I'm using a pen. You could use a pencil, a marker, a crayon, anything you have around your home. I'm going to scoot him aside. And whenever I draw, the first thing I do is practice. So we're going to practice a few different things before we draw our gnome. So I'm going to take my pen, and the first thing we're going to practice is a couple of different ways to make gnome hats. I think the hats are the most fun part of the gnome to make. So the easiest gnome hat starts out looking like a triangle, but then the bottom part, I make this little curve like a hill. That's the easiest gnome hat to make. A triangle with a curve. The second kind of hat, that's also pretty easy to make, is instead of making a straight line, make a little bit of a wiggle on both sides. And then do that middle part like a hill again. Same thing, just a little bit of a wrinkly hat. Okay. The next one I'm going to make, at the top, I'm going to start by making like a fluffy ball. Looks like a little cloud or a cotton ball. And then I'm going to make my wiggly sides and my curve. All right, one more hat we're going to try today is to do that wiggle again, but this time I'm going to leave a space on top. I'm going to do my wiggle this way. I'm going to put on my bottom little hill, but at the top this time I'm going to make this wiggle, jump over that line, and then it's going to wiggle down here a little ways. So I jumped over and wiggled down there. And then this one is going to follow it. And at the bottom, I'm going to put a little fluffy ball. Those are my 4 favorite gnome hats to make. There's lots of different hats that you can try. Okay, the next fun part is how we decorate inside the hats. So one thing I like to do is polka dots. And so we're just drawing a couple little circles. That's a design that you could use inside one of your hats. Another idea is to make stripes. So I'd make a stripe like that on the hat. And another stripe. Maybe my hat would be big enough to have 3 stripes. And it'd be really fun inside those stripes to color them in or to put designs like little zigzags or little lines. Lots of ways to make those stripes be even more fun. All right, the next thing we're going to do is a zigzag. So zigzag looks like little mountains. And then I take my pen and I go right next to those mountains and I make another one. It makes a little zigzag stripe. Maybe I'll do one more. And if you just want to do that, you can. You don't have to put the little line underneath it. I like to put the line underneath it because then I can color it in later. Another design you can do is to make diagonals and then make diagonals the other way, and you end up with a whole bunch of diamonds. Those are fun to color in too. Another thing you could do is you could add a whole bunch of little stars on the hat. or some little hearts on the hat. Or maybe you want to make a snowflake. When I make a snowflake, I like to make a plus sign and then a little baby X. I like to put some dots all around it. There's lots of ways to make snowflakes. I'm sure you can come up with a really cool way. Okay, so now we know how to make a hat. We have some designs that we could put inside the hat. The next part we're going to practice is the beard. So I have two ways I like to make a gnome beard. And one of those ways is, let's see, making kind of like the letter C over and over again, like a fluffy cloud. Up here is where his hat would be. So just making these little letter C's over and over again makes a fluffy beard. Another beard I like to make is curve down and then curve on the other side. I leave a little hole in the middle. And then I make a little mountain up and then kind of a V. Up and a V. It looks kind of funny like that, but when we put it under the hat, it makes a cool beard. I'll do that one more time. That one's a little bit narrow. I like mine a little bit wider. And sometimes I like to put some little spirals inside his beard. Make it look like he's got some curly hair. You also can add some little baby C's to make it look a little bit thicker and fluffier. Okay. So we've practiced the hats and the beards, and now I think we're ready to start our gnome. So I'm going to move this aside, get another piece of paper. Now you can draw these gnomes big or small. You could draw them on a card or an envelope or a piece of scrap paper, whatever you have around the house that you're allowed to draw on. Okay, my gnome is going to be smaller than my hand. Okay, it's going to be a few inches tall. So the first part of my gnome is the hat. So I'm going to start by making that bump. And then I'm going to make the straight line, kind of like a triangle. And then gnomes have a big nose. And this hat is going to cover up his eyes. So when I make my gnomes, I don't show the eyes, I just show the big nose sticking out from the bottom of the hat. So to make my nose, I'm going to make an oval. And it's kind of big. It's kind of big sticking out from under that hat. And I think of gnomes as being little tiny guys that maybe live in your garden, or a lot of times there's gnomes around Christmas time, and they wear big hats that fall down over their eyes. Okay, so now I've made the hat and the nose. He needs a beard, and I'm going to make this one that fluffy cloud-like beard. So over here, I'm going to start on this side, and I'm going to start making those letter C's go all the way around. There's this big fluffy beard. And now I can decorate that hat. So if I think about all the ways I practiced polka dots, stripes, zigzags, diagonals, or little shapes, I think I'm going to put polka dots in this one. So I'm going to put a couple little polka dots. hat. Isn't that so cute? And sometimes I just make a gnome head like this and I'm done. But sometimes I like to put a body on my gnome. So for my body, I'm gonna come off of the side of the hat here. My beard kind of goes over, so I'm gonna come down here and I'm just gonna make these two a little bit of curved lines that come down on each side. And then I'm gonna make a bottom. And to make the arms, I'm just gonna make a little curve on both sides. And I'm gonna put a little hand. I'm not drawing fingers or anything right now. I'm just drawing a little hand like that. And that's my first gnome. I'm not drawing legs or feet on this one because sometimes I like when gnomes wear such big baggy clothes that it covers up their feet. That's how I'm gonna draw my first gnome. All right, I'm gonna do another one. Hopefully you're ready to try another one. I'm gonna start by making that curve of the hat. But this time I'm gonna make the wiggly lines. And then I need to make his nose, and I'm going to make his nose pretty big, sticking out of the bottom of the hat. And to make his beard, I'm going to go on the corner. I'm going to make the letter C. And this way make a backwards C. It almost looks like a circle. And then I'm going to go up like a little mountain and come down and up like a little mountain and come down. There's his beard. And now I'm going to decorate the hat. And this time I think I'm going to put some zigzags. So I'm going to do a zigzag and then I'm going to do one really close to it so I can color it in later. And a zigzag up here. And maybe one more at the top. And if I want to make a body, his body's going to come down like this on both sides and make the bottom. And I make an arm by making a curve and a curve and a little hand and a little hand. If I want to add feet to this one, I like to do 1, 2, 3 lines, like 3 number ones. And on this side, I make the letter C. And on this side, I make a backwards C. And I connect those on the bottom. In this middle line, I'm going to make it go all the way down. And now he's got some little boots on. If I want, I could draw a little buckle. He's so cute. All right, let's do one more gnome. This time I'm going to try the really tall hat that comes down and has a ball at the end. So I'm going to start by making the curve at the bottom. And I'm going to go up, 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 up here, and up that way and stop. And then this one's going to jump over the top of that line. And it's going to wiggle down to the side just a little bit. And this one's going to follow it. And at the bottom, I'm going to put a nice, big, fluffy ball. And I think I'm going to do this kind of a beard again. You can do any beard you want. First, I need to make his nose, though. Remember, his nose is pretty big. Sometimes I put a little curve in there to make his nose look like it's kind of shiny. So to make the beard, I'm going to make that C shape. And the same on that side, but facing the other way. I'm going to go up and down. It's kind of a tricky thing to do. Maybe this time I'll put some spirals in there, like he's got curly hair. And to make his body, I come down from the hat and come down from the hat. Make the bottom of his clothes. And maybe this one's going to have long legs. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And I make the big letter C. And then I make the backwards C. And I connect the bottom. And that line in the middle needs to come all the way down, like his shoes are touching each other. And maybe this gnome isn't wearing boots, maybe he's wearing a shoe. So I'm going to put kind of a smile face shape right there. And right there. There's his little shoes. And maybe this one has stripe stockings, striped socks. You can make your gnomes as cute as you want. Add whatever designs you want. And he needs an arm and a hand. And the arm and a hand. And for his hat, I'm going to do diagonals. So a diagonal line means I start on one side and come down to the other side. Now diagonal lines up here are kind of tricky, so I'm just going to do my best. It doesn't really matter how it turns out. And then we do diagonals the other way. Isn't that so cute? All right, my marker away. And now I've got some other markers. I also have some colored pencils and some crayons. So I could be done right now if I wanted to, but if I want to add some color, I can. So maybe I'll take my red marker and maybe I'll color in that zigzag stripe. Make his hat really cute. And maybe his shirt needs some stripes. I have to go behind the beard. And his sleeves need some stripes. Looks like he's wearing some pajamas. Now maybe on the polka dots, maybe I'll use my green marker and I'll color in my polka dots green. Maybe his clothes need some little stars on them. Whatever you want to do. You don't have to copy mine. And then maybe I'll take my colored pencil and maybe I'll color this in. I'll color in his sleeve and his shirt. Maybe you have a favorite color that you want to do yours. Maybe I'll take a red and I'll color in his hat red. Anything you want. Maybe down here I'll color in some of these stripes. I know you've got lots of ideas of your own. Isn't that cute? And maybe for my last one, maybe I'll use some blue and maybe I'll color in some of these little diamond shapes. Kind of making a checkerboard pattern. And maybe he needs to be colored in blue down here too to match his hat. I'm coloring kind of fast, just because I know you don't want to sit and watch me color for very long. But you can take your time and do your best. Maybe I'll give him some little blue stripes on his socks or stockings. Okay, those are my 3 gnomes. I hope you made your own and they look really cool. Another fun thing to do is to think of a funny little name for each gnome. So maybe you can come up with some funny gnome names. Okay, thank you so much. I hope I can see some of the gnomes that you draw, and I hope you had fun. Bye-bye.